President Donald Trump's so-called big beautiful bill, which is stuffed with goodies for the richest Americans, corporations, along with, of course, steep cuts to Medicaid and the SNAP program, food stamps, food assistance for people in poverty. This bill also comes with the possibility of massive cuts to Medicare. That's right. According to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, they have estimated that the Republican budget bill that just passed the House 215 to 214 late at night, by the way, and the reason that it was so close is we've had 3 Democrats that are missing because they died in office. So, we do not have enough votes here in the House, even though, it was pretty close. Okay. Maybe it would have helped if we had those other Democrats, but they weren't there, and maybe it wouldn't have helped. Still, that's what happened. But anyway, this budget bill would trigger about $500 billion in automatic cuts to Medicare. But wait, hold on. That must be fake news, right? Because Donald Trump, he had promised not to cut Medicare. He's not going to touch Medicare. Well, here's the genius thing about it. He wouldn't be the one doing it. These are automatic cuts. See, what happened is that Congress is bound by the PAYGO Act. So it's statutory. It's pay as you go, right? Which requires any spending to be offset by automatic cuts to avoid deficit spending. Okay. Now, those automatic Medicare cuts would be capped at about 4% of its yearly budget, meaning that about $45 billion would be cut in 2026 and between $490 billion between 2027 and 2034 total, according to the CBO. So that's a lot of cuts. That said, they could offset the deficit impact to avoid the automatic cuts, but that would involve, of course, taking money from something else, cutting something else, or adding in some new revenue, which, of course, that's not going to happen. They're not going to add in revenue because that would involve taxing. Yes, I know. So that said, what they have right there, and this is a tax cut bill, all right? So it cuts trillions of dollars in taxes. Which, would add, of course, about $3.8 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years. So you'd have to do a lot of cutting to make it deficit neutral. Okay. Sure. I'm not saying they couldn't figure something out if they wanted to. Perhaps, doing some weird procedural tricks that they always do. For example, they could change budget scorekeeping rules. Okay. They could also instruct the White House Budget Office to just ignore the reconciliation package's debt impact. Yes, the people that were screaming about the debt and the deficit for decades. Oh my God! Oh, we've got so much budget deficits and debts. We're gonna do something about it. We're gonna do something about the debt. Then they're just gonna completely ignore that, or they could ignore it like they always do. Look, here's the thing. Congress has never allowed the PAYGO sequester to actually go into effect, even after passing deficit increasing legislation. They always have these budget tricks that they go and use to make sure that, yes, we can pass these tax cuts mainly, okay, for the rich, or spending that's basically also going to rich people and corporations without having to do these automatic cuts. So, yeah, and that's what they could do with these Medicare cuts, because honestly, if they do end up passing, not passing, they already passes, but if the PAYGO cuts go into effect here, well, that's a massive cut to Medicare, which would be really, really unpopular with the people on Medicare. And a lot of them happen to be MAGA supporters. So that said, there is still the potential of having cuts to Medicare, which would come in addition to the already massive cuts to Medicaid, which are sure to happen. In fact, according to the CBO, the lowest income households, though, would see their resources drop okay, with these cuts. Medicare and food stamps, the SNAP program, while the highest income households would get a massive boost, because of course they will. That is the entire freaking point of this big, beautiful bill, is to give rich people your money. It is an upward transfer of wealth. In fact, during the debate, you had Representative Maxwell Frost pointing out what it actually is. Here's what he said.
Republicans would have us believe that the person most likely to steal from you is a person in a hoodie, a black person in a hoodie, or an immigrant with tattoos. And this is to the
gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman's recognized for an additional minute.
This is to distract from the fact that at least here tonight, the people stealing from Americans are not folks with tattoos and hoodies. It's people wearing suits and ties and congressional pins sitting in this Capitol right now. Not in some random alley wrapped in darkness, but in the United States Congress, wrapped in the flag. It is disgusting, and we will never forget this. I yield back.
They boo because he's right. Oh, they do not like being called out. Because that's what this is. This is an upward transfer of wealth, okay? And there's more criticism, by the way. Richard Fiesta, executive director of the advocacy group Alliance for Retired Americans, said, quote, "This bill just gets more and more cruel." It's almost like that's the point. He said it's an all-out assault on Medicare and Medicaid that will hurt older Americans in every community across the country. President Trump and Speaker Johnson promised over and over not to touch Medicare. This big, brutal bill cuts both Medicare and Medicaid, while handing massive tax breaks to the ultra-wealthy and big corporations. This is not just a broken promise, it's a betrayal. Yes. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. Ha ha ha, mine is an evil laugh. Now die, poor people. That's what they're saying, okay? That's what they're saying to you. Look, this Republican budget bill, this is Brendan Doyle now, representative of Pennsylvania, the top Democrat in the House Budget Committee, says, this is one of the most expensive and dangerous bills Congress has seen in decades. This is what Republicans do. Pay for massive tax breaks for billionaires by going after programs families rely on the most. Medicaid, food assistance, and now Medicare. Yeah. It's reckless, dishonest, and deeply harmful to the middle class. But you know what the biggest irony about this entire thing is, though? These cuts would actually hobble Medicare's ability to try and fight waste, fraud, and abuse. That's right. According to Mary Johnson, no relation, by the way, an independent Medicare and Social Security analyst, she said one of the first areas that have felt the cuts in the past have been Medicare's fraud and waste fighting efforts. These cuts would weaken the key Trump administration priority to root out fraud and waste. It could backfire by leading to a more rapid rate of growth in Medicare Part B premiums if waste and fraud is not kept in check. Look, here's the thing. They don't actually care about waste, fraud, and abuse. They really don't. Okay. The cruelty is the point. In fact, if they do get more waste and fraud and abuse as a result of these cuts, then they can just use that to say, oh, look at how wasteful and fraudulent this program is. We should get rid of it. We should privatize it. That's pretty much it. The cruelty is the point. Now, Shannon Benton, executive director of the Senior Citizens League, said the potential Medicare cuts could also lead to lower reimbursement rates and may force healthcare providers to limit services or stop accepting Medicare altogether, while older adults could see higher out-of-pocket costs for medical services and prescriptions. Of course. And for those enrolled in Medicare Advantage benefits like dental, vision, or hearing, that could be scaled back or eliminated entirely. So there you go. And yes, it also raises the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. The thing that Republicans didn't want to do, we are not going to raise the debt ceiling. No, that's irresponsible. Now they're doing it. So there you go. That is the impact of this bill that has passed, at least the House, and now goes to the Senate. Not so beautiful, after all, is it? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.